On January 17, 1893, sugar and pineapple businessmen, along with U.S. soldiers and the American minister to Hawaii, stormed the palace and overthrew the Queen. The businessmen had asked for U.S. protection. The Committee of Safety, formed by the Hawaiian League, brought 1,500 members of the Honolulu Rifles, the military group of the Hawaiian League, with them to aid in the invasion. The businessmen claimed to be overthrowing a corrupt regime, arguing that a Western power would reach it sooner or later. Sanford Dole, owner of a pineapple corporation, became president. Minister John Stevens recognized Dole's new government on February 1st. The entire operation was done without presidential approval. Almost 2 million acres of land were seized. What could cause such a sudden event? Why did America want to steal a nation from the natives? These questions and more will be answered in Hawaii, the Stolen Island. At first, America was attracted to Hawaii as a place for missionaries, growing crops, and as a dock for whaling ships. Commercial activity began in Hawaii with sugar, the crop that gave the U.S. a Hawaiian foothold. An 1876 treaty between Hawaii and the U.S. was quoted by William Adam Russ as making Hawaii virtually a sphere of influence of the United States. Sugar production increased dramatically from 21 million pounds in 1876 to 114 million pounds in 1883 to 225 million pounds in 1890. As the McKinley Tariff of 1890 increased the price of foreign sugar, America turned to Hawaii to provide. But not every aspect of this was morally right. Americans gained land in Hawaii illegally to form sugar plantations, and sugar barons used their great wealth to control Hawaii politically and economically. Hawaii was seen as only valuable for sugar and as a military outpost. The Wilson-Gorman Tariff of 1894 later abandoned the sugar subsidy and returned sugar to the American market. This led to a planters' opposition. Contrary to what you might think, many large sugar planters opposed Hawaiian annexation. They feared the U.S. involvement, which may have interfered with the immigration labor systems used in Hawaii. Instead, they wanted a protectorate. The son of Claus Spreckles, a sugar producer, is quoted saying, "We can do a more profitable business with our contract labor than we could under the laws of the United States." Smaller planters, however, wanted annexation. Imperialism was one of the main factors behind Hawaii's annexation. The Influence of Sea Power Upon History, a book by Alfred Thayer Mann, was particularly influential. The book describes the reasons of which the United States, among other countries, should become imperialistic. Included are quotes like, that states having a good seaboard, or even ready access to the ocean by one or two outlets, will find it to their advantage to seek prosperity and extension by the way of the sea and of commerce, as well as, the necessity of a navy, in the restricted sense of the word, springs, therefore, from the existence of a peaceful shipping, a navy merely as a branch of the military establishment, and having therefore no foreign establishments, either colonial or military, the ships of war of the United States in war will be, like land birds, unable to fly far from their own shores. The Republican Party of 1896 called for the annexation of Hawaii. William McKinley called for a joint resolution in order to do so. The U.S. was a rival of Japan. It wanted to annex Hawaii before the Japanese, an emerging imperial power, could gain a foothold in the Pacific. Hawaii has had a history of foreign control. In 1887, the Hawaiian League intimidated King Kalakaua into signing the Constitution of the Kingdom of Hawaii, also known as the Bayonet Constitution. The king was forced to accept a cabinet with Lorne Thurston called the Hawaiian League. At this point, the government of Hawaii was officially out of control of the natives. Queen Liliuokalani became queen on January 29, 1891, at the age of 52 years old. Her niece, Princess Kaiulani, became her heir. Benjamin Harrison was a pro-expansionist and supported increasing the navy. He expressed this through political action in Latin America. Harrison sent an annexation treaty to Hawaii, but it was withdrawn by William McKinley for the purpose of re-examination. Cleveland ordered a study of the revolution that occurred in Hawaii, saying, "The provisional government owes its existence to an armed invasion by the United States. By an act of war, a substantial wrong has been done." Not everyone was happy about Hawaii's annexation. Some wanted to avoid it due to racism, as there was a large population of Hawaiians and Asians. Others believed it to be unnecessary. During a debate, those against annexation stated that there was already a route to Hong Kong and Manila from San Francisco by way of the Aleutian Islands, which are 800 miles shorter. The Anti-Imperialist League and Faneuil Hill began to protest. When Rome began her career of conquest, the Roman Republic began to decay. Let us once again govern any considerable body of men without their consent, and it is a question of time, as soon as the Republic shares the fate of Rome. Boston attorney Moorfield Story. Finally, some believe it to be stealing. The San Francisco Argonaut stated that this country, and its traditions of governing with the consent of the governed, cannot annex a weak nation that does not want to be annexed. There were even claims that annexation contradicted the traditional foreign policy of Daniel Webster, and the Tyler Doctrine aimed for an independent Hawaii. The natives of Hawaii encountered differences in culture. The native population shrank due to new diseases being introduced from the influx of foreigners and immigrants, and illnesses like the measles, whooping cough, dysentery, and influenza spread quickly across the island. Sugar planters brought over many ethnicities to work, including Japanese, Chinese, Portuguese, Koreans, Puerto Ricans, and Filipinos. The native Hawaiians, having almost no part in the exchange of power between Hawaii and the U.S., understandably tried to fight for independence. Queen Liliuokalani herself believed annexing Hawaii to be taking of property without due process of law and without just or other compensation. The Queen also tried to fight in the U.S. court for her crown, but was unsuccessful. Joseph Nawai became Queen Liliuokalani's visitor, fighting for Hawaii's independence through Hui Kaleana, a native Hawaiian political association formed in 1887 in order to work against the Bayonet Constitution. The Hui Aloha Aina for women, the Hui Aloha Aina for men, and the Hui Kaleana all formed to oppose the annexation to the U.S. On September 6, 1897, the Hui Aloha Aina held a political meeting in Palace Square, deciding that a mass refusal would prevent annexation. F.J. Testa, a Portuguese royalist and editor of Ka Maka Aina, a Hawaiian language newspaper, read a 13-page memorial of reasons why Hawaii should be independent. J.O. Carter, close advisor and confidant to Queen Liliuokalani after the overthrow, spoke against annexation as well, stating, "An alliance with the United States means grave responsibilities for the Hawaiian people. The United States of America form one of the leading nations of the world, a great country pressing to the fore for trade and commerce, and striving to dictate terms to the maritime powers. So long as Hawaii remains independent, she will be free from all the entanglements that beset the rest of the world." In total, nearly 40,000 Hawaiians signed petitions for Hawaiian independence. The Spanish-American War played an important role in Hawaii's history, and stands as one of the reasons that it was annexed. The U.S. battleship Maine exploding in Havana Harbor was seen as a Spanish attack. The U.S. declared war against Spain soon after. Hawaii comes into play, being seen as a good location for a naval base, as well as a place to refuel ships. McKinley was quoted saying, "We need Hawaii just as much, and a good deal more than we did California. It is manifest destiny." A joint resolution for Hawaii's annexation was sent to Congress on May 4th, and passed on June 15th. On July 6, 1898, Congress passed the Newlands Resolution, a joint resolution to annex Hawaii for military purposes. This is when Hawaii became a U.S. territory. The conditions for the Newlands Resolution include the Republic of Hawaii ceding to the United States, as well as 1,800,000 acres, without compensation to the people. Other conditions included the existing treaties of the Hawaiian Islands with foreign nations shall forthwith cease and determine, being replaced by such treaties as may exist, or as may hereafter concluded, between the United States and such foreign nations, and the President shall appoint 5 commissioners, at least 2 of whom shall be residents of the Hawaiian Islands, who shall, as soon as reasonably practicable, recommend to Congress such legislation concerning the Hawaiian Islands as they shall deem necessary or proper. Henry Cabot Lodge justified annexation in a speech in 1900, saying, "We didn't ask for the consent of those loyal to Britain during the American Revolution. We didn't ask for consent to let the South back into the Union. We didn't ask for the consent of the Indians in the Louisiana Purchase. There were also political reasons for Hawaii's overthrow, specifically that control of foreign places can lead to U.S. prosperity, and that the country is the force of good in the world." Changed much since becoming a territory. After becoming a state in 1959, Native Hawaiians gained political power in the 1950s and 60s. Afterwards, a rapid migration of whites to the island forced some natives to be evicted. Hawaiians have formed political groups to preserve their rights and culture, making sure to preserve their history. The royal family still exists today, but under title only. Hawaii was taken at a unique period in U.S. history, at a time of imperialism. America wanted to expand, and the idea of a manifest destiny continued as the new mindset. In addition to Hawaii, we annexed Puerto Rico and fought in the Philippines. Though Hawaii may seem peaceful today, we must remember the history, resistance, and dramatic takeover behind Hawaii, the stolen island. That can join us all in unity. So leave your negativity at the door, 'cause we're all right together when we're on the dance floor. Say, time to unite, no time to fight. Music's gonna make things right.